Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Yes, keep watching.
Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
This is me giving a rapid response to Rapid TV.
Good evening and welcome to Rapid Television News at this time. My name is Cynthia Agwa. We'll begin the news first with the headlines. President Tinubu signs Nigeria's Southeast Northwest Development Commission bills. Nigerian government resumes mass trial of 300 terrorism suspects. FCCPC fines Meta WhatsApp $200 million for discriminatory practices. At least 60 Ugandan anti-graft protesters charged held behind bars. Real Madrid generated historic revenue of over $1 billion. Details of these and more will come to you on the bulletin. We'll be right back. President Bola Tinubu has signed into law 2 bills creating new regional development commissions. The Southeast Development Commission and the Northwest Development Commission were established to develop the 7 Northwest states and 5 Southeast states, respectively. The bills were sponsored by Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barwa and Deputy Speaker Ben Kalu and were passed by both chambers. The commissions aim to address regional development needs and disparities. However, the move comes amid calls to reduce government agencies and cut costs. President Tinubu had earlier announced plans to implement the Rosaya report, which reviews ministries, departments, and agencies, but 5 months later, there's been no update on its implementation, raising questions about the government's commitment to streamlining its operations. The Minority Caucus of the House of Representatives is urging the federal government to engage in talks with organizers of the planned End Bad Gutter scheduled for August across the country. The protest aims to address issues of hardship, poverty, and high cost of living. The lawmakers are worried about the implications of the protests on the economy and want the government to address the concerns of the protesters. The chairman of the caucus, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, discouraged the protest due to the current insecurity situation in parts of the country, fearing it could be overtaken by hoodlums. Instead, he appealed to the government to dialogue with the protesters and address critical areas that need intervention. Chinda also advised the government to adopt the carrot and stick method in addressing insecurity and ensure that citizens are protected. The caucus also called on the government to create means for citizens to be self-reliant in tackling the economic downturn. They made these resolutions at their end of session dinner in Abuja, emphasizing the need for the government to intervene and resolve issues amicably. In related development, the federal government has called an emergency meeting to address a planned nationwide protest scheduled for August 1. The meeting holding today, Wednesday, involved all ministers, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and special advisors to the President. This comes after President Bola Tinubu pleaded with the organizers to shelve the protest and give his administration more time to execute people-oriented programs. The planned protest is over the rising cost of living and economic hardship in the country, blamed on the removal of fuel subsidies, floating of the Naira, and other economic reforms implemented by the Tinubu administration. However, the presidency has called on youth to abandon the plan, describing it as an ill-advised, saying the president has taken the protesters' grievances seriously and was committed to ensuring a better future for Nigeria. And meanwhile, the Nigerian government has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting citizens' right to protest while maintaining public order. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris made this known when he received the charismatic Bishop Conference in Abuja. He noted that some individuals plan to hijack the protests and unleash violence on innocent Nigerians. The minister highlighted President Bola Tinubu's administration's efforts to address Nigeria's concerns, including unemployment and economic challenges. He announced a new policy to provide stipends to unemployed university and polytechnic graduates until they find employment. Other government initiatives, he said, include the 70,000 naira national minimum wage and compressed natural gas to reduce transportation costs. Meanwhile, the charismatic Bishop Conference has distanced itself from the planned protest, advocating for peace and dialogue instead. Archbishop Leonard Kawas praised the government's progress in social investment, security and infrastructure development. The conference honored Minister Idris with a Meritorious Service Award and pledged to support the government through prayers and advocacy. Ahead of the looming nationwide protest by youth across the country, local council chairmen in Lagos State are cautioning against the demonstration, echoing President Bola Tinubu's call for patience. They are sure that the president is actively working to address the concerns of Nigerians. Our correspondent Esther Omelo brings us more on this developing story.
It is an assemblage of local government chairmen in Lagos State under the aegis of Conference 57. The focus of the emergency meeting stems from the planned nationwide protest scheduled for the 1st of August 2024.
We're here, first of all, to appeal to all Lagosians that they should not allow themselves to be used for any planned protest. As all the local governments in Lagos State will not tolerate any form of protest in all the local councils in Lagos State. So you can use your vote to protest, not to go to streets and disrupt the activities and the economic activities of Lagos State.
They are calling for collaboration with the government in tackling economic challenges while advising the youth not to become agents of destruction.
We should all go out into our community and inform our people that such a protest is not needed at this point in time. That Nigerians have voted in a man in less than 2 years and is doing all his best to put things in the right place. That going out to protest at this stage will not actually support the government, will not equally support the electoral value of our people.
This government is a government that is friendly, is a government that is ready to address the yearnings and aspirations of Nigeria. And they are doing it gradually. Rome was not built in a day. You do not expect the government to do everything in a month or in a year. National minimum wage he has moved it to 70,000 naira. I mean, this man is addressing the issues, and I think Nigerians should give him, more time to address this challenge. And I'm very, very optimistic.
The council chairman adds that the government has initiated various empowerment programs, noting that the planned mass protest is unnecessary.
Democratically, there is a way we can express our grievances. We can protest by voting for the person that we think is good. But I'm 100% sure that by the end of the second or third year of this administration, people will not have any reason to protest again, because you will have been seeing the dividend of democracy, the fulfillment of all the electoral promises.
I am using this opportunity to call on every Lagosian, in every local government, wherever you find yourself in Lagos, do not join any protest. The government of Lagos State, federal government of Nigeria, and all local governments in Lagos State, we are doing everything we can to ensure that we bring succor to the people.
The NSAS protest of October 20, 2020 readily comes to mind. Meetings like this have become regular in the state to avoid any repeat of events that played out almost 4 years ago. Esther Omelo, Rapid TV, Lagos.
In a move to foster peace and unity in Nigeria's northern region, the Rebuild Arewa Initiative for Development, RAID, has urged northern youths to abstain from participating in the planned nationwide
potential for violence, citing examples from Libya, Sudan, Kenya, and Nigeria. Instead, RAID advocated for an intellectual approach to addressing the country's challenges.
We need to avoid regrets. The only way to quell the current national feud and multifaceted protest that should be infiltrated and hijacked like the NSAS is to say sorry and restore subsidy on fuel, electricity, transportation to force down prices of essential commodities.
We will not give room for anybody to take advantage of the present situation. Yes, agreed the government is not doing as expected. Yes, agreed the government needed to improve in its ways, the policies and programs as the government is bringing out. It is not enough. Nigerians are not satisfied. Nigerians are not happy. But protest is not the best way to express displeasure as far as the situation of this country is concerned. So we as civil society organizations are saying that we will not be part of anything protest.
The communique highlighted several challenges facing Nigeria, including security, economic, social, political, healthcare, and educational issues. To address these challenges, READ made the following demands.
Improve welfare and well-being of security personnel. Deployment of new and political ideas and innovations in the fight against insurgency in the north. Under economy, we demand as follows. The federal government must put back into active use all the refineries, all the local refineries before the end of 2024. We have had enough of lies from the management of NNPCL. This hardship we are is because of energy crisis.
The stakeholders meeting also highlighted the importance of collaborative effort between CSOs, government agencies, and community leaders to address the region's development challenges. Participants pledged to work together to promote peace, education, and economic empowerment in the north. As the situation continues to unfold, READ's appeal has sparked a wave of support from various quarters, with many Nigerians calling for peaceful resolution of conflicts. Abuja, Godwin Amundi, Rapid Television News.
Stakeholders unite in the call for strengthened workplace safety in Nigeria as a new bill gains momentum in the House of Representatives. The proposed National Safety Regulatory Board aims to boost productivity and safeguard lives across various sectors. Our National Assembly correspondent Godwin Amundi has details.
Operational health and safety are indeed crucial elements of organizations' success, impacting not only the well-being and productivity of its workforce, but also its reputation, regulatory compliance, and financial performance. It is against this backdrop that the House of Representatives Committee on Safety Standard Regulation held a public hearing on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Safety Regulatory Board and for related matters 2024. Stakeholders believe that the establishment of this agency will align with international best practices and enhance the effectiveness of safety measures. In his keynote address during the public hearing, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, represented by Kingsley Chinda, explained that the proposed legislation was aimed at developing effective laws capable of regulating and upholding safety standards in various areas, including public spaces, schools, transportation and construction sectors, food processing and commercial facilities.
Safety standards and regulations are critical to the socio-economic development and well-being of any nation by safeguarding the lives and livelihood of the people. This insight can only be achieved by an efficient public institution which the bill being evaluated today seeks to establish, thereby underscoring the importance of this gathering. However, understanding that public hearing is a legislative platform that provides stakeholders an opportunity to shape and reshape the law process.
On his part, Chairman, House Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations, Suleiman Abubakar Gumi, described the hearing as a significant milestone in Nigerians joining towards enhancing safety standards and regulations.
This unified framework will ensure that Nigeria aligns with international best practices, fostering collaboration, reducing duplication, and enhancing and enhancing and enforcing the effectiveness of our safety measures. The National Safety Regulatory Board will prioritize risk assessment, research, and capacity building to tackle emerging safety challenges. It will also play a pivotal role in raising public awareness and education on safety matters, empowering every Nigerian to contribute to a safety-conscious culture.
The establishment of a safety regulatory agency in Nigeria is a crucial step towards ensuring the safety and well-being of all citizens. From the National Assembly, Godwin Amundi, Rapid Television News.
The Senate and House of Representatives have begun their annual 7-week recess, with lawmakers set to resume plenary sessions on September 17. The break comes after the passage of several crucial bills, including the minimum wage law and President Bola Tinubu's request to increase the 2024 budget by 6.2 trillion naira. Other notable bills passed by the National Assembly include the amendment to the 2023 Finance Act and a bill imposing a one-time windfall tax on banks for foreign exchange earnings. Senate President Godswill Akpabio expressed hope that President Tinubu would sign the minimum wage bill into law before the end of the week. Although the National Assembly is on recess, some committees are scheduled to meet this week and next to attend to urgent matters. The break is expected to give lawmakers time to recharge and engage with their constituents before returning to legislative duties in September. The Nigerian government has resumed mass trials of terrorism suspects, with at least 300 cases being heard in 5 special courts. The trials, conducted in line with international criminal justice standards, aim to bring to justice those allegedly involved in terrorism and other serious crimes against the state. The National Counter-Terrorism Center Office of the National Security Advisor announced the resumption of trials, which are being presided over by 5 reputable judges. The suspects are being represented by lawyers from the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria. Over 800 case files have been reviewed and charges have been prepared for efficient prosecution. The government has previously secured convictions in similar trials, including 366 convictions in 2017 and 4 convictions of Boko Haram financiers in December 2023. The National Counter-Terrorism Center is working to ensure that justice is served while also de-radicalizing and reintegrating non-culpable suspects into society. Traders and market leaders in Anambra State, particularly in Onitsha, are worried about the continued observance of the Monday sit-at-home order, and despite directives from Governor Chukwuma Soludo to open markets. Major markets in the state, including Main Market, Ochanja Market, and Bridgehead Market, remain closed every Monday in compliance with the indigenous people of Biafra's order, which was suspended but still feared by traders. The sit-at-home order has led to deserted roads, closed schools, offices, banks, and courts, with most public functions not holding on Mondays. Traders fear attack by hoodlums who enforced the order, with some victims still unaccounted for, including the chairman of Umbuka Amazu Market, Chief Enibe Francis, abducted in 2023. Market leaders have resorted to opening market gates on Mondays but leaving them unattended to avoid removal by the government while fearing for their lives. The situation has created panic among traders, with the president of Anambra State Market Amalgamated Traders Association, Chief Humphrey Anuna, confirming the abduction of the market leader and efforts to establish contact with him. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a notorious drug baron, Alhaji Suleiman Jimo, also known as Temo, after years of evading arrest. The 57-year-old head of the Mushin Lagos drug cartel was apprehended at his enclave after a long surveillance operation. Temo was known for his ability to evade arrest, but the NDLEA's persistence and determination finally paid off. The drug kingpin was responsible for large consignment of illicit drugs worth billions of naira, including recent seizures of Ghana Loud, a strong strain of cannabis sativa. His men had engaged NDLEA operatives in gunfight during previous encounters, but this time, Temo was overpowered and whisked away from the scene. The NDLEA has recovered a Mercedes-Benz SUV from him. The chairman, chief executive officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mawa, retired, commended the officers involved in the arrest for their resilience and professionalism. He urged them to intensify the heat on all drug cartels, stating that those involved in the criminal trade of illicit drugs can only run but cannot hide forever. The arrest of Temor is a significant blow to the drug cartel and a clear message to others involved in the trade. Tonight we take you to the African Union Agenda 2063 Ambassadorial Assembly, a prestigious gathering of influential leaders shaping the continent's future. Our correspondent brings you highlights from the African Transformation Conference and the second investiture of ambassadors. The African Union Agenda 2063 Ambassadorial Assembly brought together distinguished leaders to drive the continent's transformation. The event theme, Alignment of AU Agenda 2063 and Renewed Hope Agenda, a pathway for Africa development, set the tone for a forward-looking discussion.
The origins and purpose of this agenda, the key milestones and development process. 2, vision and objective. Under this, the long-term vision for Africa 2023 by 2023, the primary objectives and focus areas of the agenda, aspirations of this agenda. 4, goals of Agenda 2063. Some people believe that it's only the SDG that has goals.
Where the destiny of Africa will take a new dimension. We need to understand that the African Union Agenda 2063 is the topmost agenda of the African Union. Let me just do a little explanation here. Organization of African Unity was born, or was birthed. And what Organization of African Unity focused on was to make sure that the damages that were done by the Europeans and our colonial masters were paid back. So for 50 years, Africa was busy crying and fighting for reparation.
The Senate leader, represented by Honorable Shade Adepeju Joseph, delivered a goodwill message emphasizing the need for collective action to advance Africa's development.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope Agenda focuses on several key areas, including economic growth, security, infrastructure development, social welfare, and governance reforms. And the Senate itself and its ability to navigate the legislative process, build consensus, and effectively communicate its administration's priorities is crucial to the success of the Renewed Hope Agenda. So linking the Renewed Hope Agenda and the AU Agenda 2063. The role of the Senate leader in Nigeria is not only pivotal for national legislative processes, but also instrumental in aligning national goals with broader continental objectives such as the African Union Agenda 2063.
The launch of the Agenda 2063 learning portal in all African Union official languages marked a significant milestone, while the event also featured the unveiling of AU Agenda 2063 model cities across metropolitan cities and an award presentation.
Well, we have a lot of work to do. I'm so glad that Africa is now taking its position. We're moving away from the culture of blaming the colonial masters for the plight of Africa. Now we're taking responsibility for our continent, we're taking responsibility for our countries within the African states, and we have our agenda, which we've laid down to make Africa the Africa that we want, the Africa that we Africans will be proud of, the Africans that the whole world will look up to.
One of the days of which I would never ever forget in my life, being an ambassador today. At least it's something that my family, my children, my everybody, in fact, even where I work and where I study, they will be proud of that. It is, of course, something to thank God for that.
I mean, the Vision 2063 ambassadorial event Yeah, it's a unique event because of the vision that African leaders have for Africa in order to transform Africa into a global powerhouse. So it's a pan-Africanist agenda that is meant to reposition Africa so that Africa will be self-sustained in terms of technological development, will be more independent.
We'll continue to bring you updates on initiatives shaping Africa's future. You are still watching Rapid Television News at this time. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, FCCPC fines Meta WhatsApp $200 million for discriminatory practices. These and many more coming your way. We'll be right back.
Hey Stars, get more value for your money with StarTimes Upgrade promo. Recharge 1 month on Nova, Basic or Classic Bouquet and get upgraded to the next bouquet to enjoy exciting top shows like Hidden Truth,
even if something happens between you
or the crowd,
because I share this apartment.
Celebrity Cook-Off.
Okay, viewers. Now, by the time we use half of it, the food goes sweet well.
Prize of Passion and more. If you're on Super Bouquet, recharge for 1 month and get an extra 5 days free. La Liga is back on StarTimes. Anticipate.
Your car.
Are you serious? You are the most amazing husband in the whole world.
Oh, come on.
I really miss my son.
I know that feeling. He's your small husband.
Can say that again.
Abel, you still haven't told me who the father of that boy is.
Rise and shine with Rapid Dawn, your essential morning companion only on Rapid TV.
Start your day with us. We bring you the latest news, engaging discussions, and a fresh perspective on issues that matter.
From weather updates to our wellness tip, interesting recipes, and our trendy conversations every Tuesday to the weirdest of talks on Wednesday, Rapid Dawn has got you covered. So grab a coffee and join us every weekday morning on Rapid Dawn. Let's greet the day together.
Rapid Dawn, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. only on Rapid TV. Join us and wake to the dawn of a new day. See you in the morning.
Anytime when you want to do down clutching, now so you go come here. Come meet me.
40,000.
Eh? You don't forget say you promise me, say you go take care of me.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anton Lecky.
My name is Neil Bliss.
My name is Akava, go by the name Baba D. And you're tuned into Rapid TV.
And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
And welcome back. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has fined Meta Platforms and WhatsApp LLC $200 million for discriminatory practices in Nigeria. The Commission's acting executive vice chairman, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi, said the penalty was imposed after a 3-year investigation found the company is guilty of denying Nigerian data subjects the right to self-determination and unauthorized transfer and sharing of personal data. The FCCPC found that WhatsApp data sharing practices in Nigeria were discriminatory, as users were not given the option to choose whether their data would be shared, unlike in other countries. The Commission also found that the company shared Nigerian users' data across platforms without their consent. The FCCPC's investigation and sanction have received international accolades, with the Commission being recognized as a leading authority in Africa standing up against anti-competitive practices by multinational agencies. The FCCPC has been working to promote fair competition and protect consumers in Nigeria, implementing measures to curb price gouging and introducing consumer education programs in schools. The Commission also prioritized intervention in the electricity industry, addressing common consumer complaints such as exploitative billing and unlawful disconnection. Godwin Nabunde is up next for more business stories.
Hello, welcome to Business News Update. A former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, has called for an independent audit of why the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited kept its investment in the Dangote Petroleum Refinery at 7.2% instead of the planned 20%. This was as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC, Mele Kari, denied owning a blending plant outside Nigeria on Tuesday. The comments were coming amid the controversies surrounding the Dangote refinery. Ezekwesili said she had earlier decided not to speak on the Dangote refinery NNPC saga while reacting to the matter through her official X handle. The former minister added that how can a project that by all definition attained the stature of a national interest project be marred in this depth of embarrassing controversy that is playing out in the full glare of the local and international investing community. Ezekwesili recalled that during former President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, she used to tell the NNPC that it could not continue to run as a federation on its own. She called on President Bola Tinubu to immediately use the instrumentality of NATI to launch an independent audit of the Dangote Refinery NNPC transaction to offer the public the true state of play. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadazo, has said that monies in dormant accounts in banks are susceptible to fraud. He said this on Tuesday at the end of the 296th meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee in Abuja, where he announced a further hike in the benchmark interest rate to 26.75%. The CBN recently directed financial institutions under its watch to transfer funds in dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and other financial assets to its custody for safekeeping. According to the Apex Bank, the objective of the move includes identifying dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and financial assets to reunite them with their beneficial owners. holding the fund in trust for the beneficial owners, standardizing the management of dormant accounts and unclaimed balances and financial assets, and establishing a standard procedure for reclaiming warehoused funds. Also, the CBN noted that members of the MPC emphasized the need for a clear exit strategy on the recently announced duty waiver for food imports. Of course, to wrap it up on business tonight, digitalization could improve fiscal policy, the quality of public administration, and the fortunes of the private sector in some of Africa's poorest countries, according to a report from the World Bank. The annual country policy and institutional assessment report, which reads International Development Association eligible countries on their policies and institutional arrangement, says that high-speed internet in sub-Saharan African countries increases the probability of employment by between 6.9% and 13.2%, as well as increasing the growth of output per worker and reducing poverty. IDA eligible countries are those with a gross national income per capita below a certain threshold. In fiscal year 2024, this was $1,315. The report says that digital technology can boost job creation through a variety of channels, including matching firms to workers, enabling productivity, enhancing activities, and improving market access and sales. And that's it on Business News Update. Godwin Amundi, Rapid Television News continues.
And on the international scene, dozens of people who participated in anti-corruption protests in Kampala, Uganda, have been charged and remanded in custody. The protesters, including a prominent TV and radio presenter and 3 young protest leaders, were accused of disorderly conduct. The protests, which were organized by young Ugandans online, aim to draw attention to corruption in the country, which is ranked 141 out of 180 countries on Transparency International Corruption Index. The Ugandan authorities had warned against the protests, with President Yoweri Museveni stating that demonstrators were playing with fire. Riot police were deployed across Kampala and roads to Parliament were sealed off. Despite this, protesters gathered, chanting slogans and holding posters. The crackdown on the protests is the latest example of the Ugandan government's suppression of opposition voices. The opposition National Unity Platform has also been targeted, with 3 of its members of parliament arrested on the eve of the rally. The protests come amid a series of high-profile corruption scandals in Uganda, including the theft of iron sheets meant for the poor and the embezzlement of funds meant to compensate farmers. Otto Brooks is on standby for more stories on the foreign scene.
Hello and welcome to today's international news. First to Ethiopia, where the search for survivors of a mudslide that claimed the lives of at least 229 people in southern Ethiopia continued Tuesday. The death toll, which increased from the initial count of 55, included individuals who attempted to rescue survivors, according to local authorities. The disaster in Ethiopia's remote Kencho Chacha Godzi district was triggered by heavy rain. Young children and pregnant women were among the victims, with at least 5 people being rescued alive. Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, shared his condolences for the devastating loss on Facebook and declared the activation of the Federal Disaster Prevention Task Force to assist in the search and rescue efforts. The exact number of people still missing is not yet known. Search efforts were still ongoing Tuesday in the area. Marcus Melese, the director of the Disaster Response Agency in Gofa Zone, reported that many rescuers are still accounted for. Landslides are a common occurrence during Ethiopia's rainy season, which began in July and is expected to continue until mid-September. Now to Sierra Leone, where a Sierra Leone court found 11 people guilty of treason and other offences following what authorities have called an attempted coup, with their leader sentenced to almost 200 years in prison. A judiciary spokesman said Tuesday In November, gunmen broke into the country's armory and a prison where more than 2,000 inmates were freed. The clashes left 18 security forces dead. Authorities at the time said they arrested 80 suspects and a dozen were charged in January, including former President Ernest Bai Koroma, later granted medical leave. The man accused of leading the attack, Amadou Kolta Makalo, was sentenced Monday to 182 years in prison on charges of treason, murder and shooting with intent to murder. Makalo is an ex-bodyguard of Koroma. The other 10 were also found guilty of treason and murder and received lengthy prison sentences ranging from 30 to 112 years. Although officially retired from politics, Koroma remains an influential figure within the political party. There have been political tensions in Sierra Leone since Bayo's reselection last year in a vote that the opposition claimed was rigged in his favour. Sierra Leone is still healing from an 11-year civil war that ended more than 2 decades ago. Finally, to Australia, where the severed leg of a surfer attacked by a shark was washed up on an Australian beach, with doctors now racing to see if it still can be reattached. Kai Mackenzie, 23, was surfing near Port Macquarie in New South Wales Tuesday when a 3-metre great white shark bit him. He managed to get to shore where an off-duty police officer used a makeshift tourniquet to stem his bleeding. His leg later washed up and was put on ice before being taken to hospital, where a medical team is assessing surgery options. Mr. Mackenzie, a sponsored surfer, remains in a serious but stable condition. The emergency services thanked the off-duty officer for his rapid response to the incidents. Ambulance's Kieran Marbury said he used the lead of his dog as a tourniquet and essentially saved his life. She described Mr. Mackenzie as calm and able to talk following the attack. He's a brave and courageous young man, she added. Mr. Mackenzie was rushed to a local hospital shortly after the incident before being flown to the John Hunter Hospital, which is a major trauma centre in Newcastle, 200 kilometres away. His leg also made the journey. Australia has more shark attacks than any other country except the USA, but fatal attacks remain relatively rare. And thanks for watching. Have a pleasant evening. I am Arthur James Brooks.
And now to entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment News. Nigerian superstar Asake is set to headline the iconic O2 Arena in London for the second time after previously selling out the famous 20,000 capacity hall in 2023. Asake's second headline concert at the O2 Arena is scheduled for September 21st, and it will be one of the stops for his upcoming Lungu Boy tour set to kick off in August 2024. Ahead of the tour, Asake has announced the release of a new LP, Lungu Boy, which will be his third album in 3 years and fourth project since January 2022. So far in 2024, Asake has only released one song, which is Only Me, a surprise release on his birthday. He had been on a breathtaking run of guest features collaborating with several stars, including Zlatan, Arasta, Victoni, Thames, and Central C. Asake's upcoming concert at the O2 Arena will also make him only the third Nigerian artist after Davido and Wizkid to headline the famous hall more than once. What About Us, a film directed by Kayode Kasum, is at the top of the chart, having grossed a total 34.7 million naira since its release. The cast includes Ozo Arukwe, Folu Storms, Kunle Remi, Teniola Ladeshe, Seyi Awolowo, Mary Collett, Unamka, and Atlanta Bridget Johnson. According to a report published on Friday, July 20, 2024 by the Cinema Exhibitors Association of Nigeria, detailing the top 10 highest grossing films at the box office between July 12 and July 18, 2024. The film also made an impressive $24 million in the first weekend of its release. Bad Boys Ride or Die, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, has dropped to second place with $33.6 million. Finally, embattled American music mogul Sean Combs, aka Diddy, has been implicated in the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. The Bad Boys Records boss is accused of paying $1 million for Shakur's assassination by suspect Duane Kefidi Davis, who was arrested for the murder last year in new court documents, according to the U.S. Sun. In the papers filed on Thursday, July 18, Diddy is named 77 times by his various pseudonyms Puff Daddy, Puff, and his government name Sean Combs. In one of the transcripts, Davis reportedly testified to Diddy's involvement in Tupac's murder. Prosecutors filed the documents in a bid to oppose Davis's latest bail request. His $112,500 bail bond was rejected last month over concerns about the source of the money. However, it is still unknown if Diddy will be subpoenaed or indicted as part of the case. And that's it on entertainment. The news continues in just a moment.
And now to sport. Real Madrid has made history by becoming the first football club to generate over €1 billion in revenue in a single season. According to the club's annual account for 2023-24 season, revenue reached €1.073 billion, a 27% increase from the previous year. This achievement comes despite ongoing renovations at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, which are expected to drive further revenue growth once completed. The club's success on the field has contributed to its financial success, with the team winning the Champions League, La Liga, and the Super Cup in the previous campaign. The basketball team also excelled, capturing several titles and reaching EuroLeague finals. The club's financial success is expected to continue with the introduction of Kylian Mbappe to the squad and the completion of the stadium innovation project. Real Madrid is planning to build on its commercial success with the final phase of the project, including the completion of the VIP arena area, event spaces, and other commercial ventures expected to be completed in 2024-25 financial year. Celtic has edged Manchester City 4-3 in a thrilling pre-season friendly in the US. Nicolas Kuhn scored twice, and Lewis Palmer netted the winner in the 68th minute, securing victory for the Scottish Premiership champions. The match was a tune-up for both teams ahead of the 2024-25 season, with several top stars resting from the European Championships. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola used the opportunity to analyze younger talent, with Erling Haaland wearing the captain's armband for the first time. Haaland equalized in the 57th minute, but Celtic responded quickly with Palmer's winning goal. The match marked a debut for Celtic's new goalkeeper Kasper, who played the first half. The friendly was a high-scoring affair, with Kuhn netting a first-half brace for Celtic. Manchester City's Massimo Perron scored seconds into the second half, and Haaland equalized later on. However, Celtic's Palmer scored the winner, finishing a three-man breakaway. The match was part of Manchester City's US tour, which continues against AC Milan on Saturday. Celtic will face Chelsea on Saturday in South Bend, Indiana. The International Olympics Committee, IOC, has officially awarded the 2034 Winter Olympics to Salt Lake City, but with a warning. The Games could be revoked if U.S. authorities continue their conflict with the World Anti-Doping Agency. The IOC cited concerns over U.S. lawmakers and United States Anti-Doping Agency undermining World Anti-Doping Agency's authority, and modified the host city contract to allow for the Games to be withdrawn if necessary. The decision came after a vote of 83-6, with IOC officials emphasizing the need for U.S. authorities to respect World Anti-Doping Agency's authority. The IOC's Legal Commission Chairman John Cortes stated that the host city contract has been rewarded to protect the integrity of the international anti-doping system. The United States Anti-Doping Agency has been a vocal critic of World Anti-Doping Agency, and tensions have recently escalated over reports of Chinese swimmers testing positive for a banned substance. The IOC's decision highlights the ongoing tensions between U.S. authorities and World Anti-Doping Agency and the need for cooperation to ensure clean sport and protect athletes. And in an update, reaching us says Argentina staged a dramatic comeback to draw 2-2 with Morocco in the 2024 Olympic men's football opener. Morocco led 2-0 through Soufiane Rahimi's brace, but Giuliano Simon and Cristiana Medina scored late goals to earn Argentina a point in Group B. While in Group C, Spain beat Uzbekistan 2-1 with Sergio Gomez scoring the winner after having a penalty saved earlier. Spain, silver medalists in Tokyo, worked hard for their win at the Parc des Princes in Paris. And that's the much we can take on the news at this time. Before we go, a recap of our major stories. President Tinubu signs Nigeria Southeast Northwest Development Commission bills. The Nigerian government resumed mass trial of 300 terrorism suspects. FCCPC fines Meta, WhatsApp $200 million for discriminatory practices. At least 60 Ugandan anti-graft protesters charged held behind bars. And in sport, Real Madrid generate historic revenue of over 1 billion euros. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Cynthia Agbo. Do not forget that you can follow us on our social media platform. Visit our website for more interesting content. Do have yourself a restful night.
Hello and welcome to your rapid weather forecast for Thursday, 25th July 2024. I am Barnabas Sandra. The seasonal rains are now fully with us in Nigeria, with weather very typical of the wet season. Daytime temperatures are getting cooler with even colder nights, so carry a warm sweater or jacket. In the northern states, cloudy weather is moving up from the south. We can expect to experience increasing rainstorms. In the southern parts of Nigeria, especially near the coast, there will be clouds and wet weather with rain and thunderstorms prevalent. Increasing cloudy weather, especially in the southwest, but with some clear days and sunshine periods. Starting with the northwest, Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate, breezy in the morning, warm in the afternoon. Otherwise, there will be periods of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Temperatures will rise to 33 degrees Celsius and drop down to 23 degrees Celsius at night. Kano, the center of commerce, mostly cloudy with periodic thunderstorms in the afternoon. Temperature rising to 31 degrees Celsius at midday and dropping down to 22 degrees Celsius later at night. Kaduna, the center of learning, cloudy most of the day with widely separated thunderstorms continuing into the afternoon and evening. Temperatures rising to 23 degrees Celsius and dropping down to 21 degrees Celsius at night. While in the northeast, Maiduguri, the home of peace, cloudy with a couple of thunderstorms in the morning, then times of clouds and a few thunderstorm spells in the afternoon. Temperatures rising to 32 degrees Celsius and dropping down to 24 degrees Celsius at night. Moving to the north central, Abuja, the federal capital city and center of unity. Some morning showers, otherwise mostly cloudy throughout the day. Temperatures will rise to 24 degrees Celsius and drop down to 20 degrees Celsius at night. Now to the southeast, Umuahia, God's own state, with a touch of morning rain, otherwise mostly cloudy and very warm, continuing later in the day. Temperatures will rise to 31 degrees Celsius and drop down to 21 degrees Celsius at night. Also to the south-south, Port Harcourt, treasure base of the nation, mostly cloudy with occasional rains and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. With rain continuing into the night, temperature will be rising to 27 degrees Celsius and dropping down to 20 degrees Celsius at night. Lastly, in the southwest, Lagos, the center of excellence, mostly cloudy, occasional morning rain and drizzle followed by sporadic rain showers in the afternoon. Temperatures will be rising to 28 degrees Celsius and dropping down to 24 degrees Celsius at night. Across the country, this wet and cloudy weather pattern will continue with more heavy rains moving in from the south and temperatures continuing to fall during the daytime hours and at night. Stay safe, keep warm and carry an umbrella or raincoat. Watch out for those thunderstorms as you go out. That's all from us from the Rapid Weather team with your daily weather forecast for Thursday, 25th July 2024. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. I am Barnabas Sandra.
My name is Ozo.
My name is Ima Ehumadu, aka La Pista.
My name is DK, aka Mama Chinedu.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
You are watching Rapid TV.
Shout out to Rapid TV.
Hey, Rapid TV, Carigo.
The biggest, the finest, the only Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Yes, keep watching.
Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
This is me giving a rapid response to Rapid TV.
Hey stars, get more value for your money with StarTimes Upgrade promo. Recharge 1 month on Nova, Basic or Classic Bouquet and get upgraded to the next bouquet to enjoy exciting top shows like Hidden Truth.
Even if something happens between you
or the crowd.
Because I share this apart, brain.
Celebrity Cook-Off.
Okay, viewers.
Now, by the time we use half of it, the food goes sweet well.
Prize of Passion and more. If you're on Super Bouquet, recharge for 1 month and get an extra 5 days free. La Liga is back on StarTimes. Anticipate, entertain your family.
On any typical day in Kigali, the streets are teeming with salaried workers, delivery drivers, and students, all looking to earn from one of Africa's fastest growing economies.